Good morning, community. Good morning. I'm so grateful to be able to come again for Meet Me Monday right here with each of you. Invite you to come on in and let's get ready to jump right into our topic. We understand that thing 2022 is making moves, right? Believing in what we said last week that our breakthrough is finally ready for us. I emphasized repeatedly last week that it is not that you needed to get ready, that there was anything wrong, flawed, off, out of sorts with you. But in fact, has been preparing our breakthrough, and we are believing that 2022 is the year of manifestation. 2022 is the year that our hands touch, that our lives experience, that we get to interact with and engage with that which God has prepared for us. So I'm excited to be able to share. Good morning to each of you. I invite us to go ahead and tag a few other Queen friends. I had some last week say, "Hey, I miss my alert, my notification." So let's go ahead and greet a few queens and invite them to come on in, and then we're going to jump right into the lesson. God has some great things in store for us. Quickly, for those of you who have already watched the video, you will have the video from last week. You will have the backdrop. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, I encourage you to go ahead and watch that video after this one so that you can have this layered teaching that we're doing. Today, we're focusing specifically on silencing the silence. Silencing the silence. I think I put that in the title. May have to go back and update it. Silencing the silence, and I'm going to share just a bit about that. I'm going to go ahead and tag a few people real quick. If you'll join me in doing so, if you'll go ahead and tag a few ladies, tell them to get on up and get on over here to the Bible study. It's better when we're here together. Good morning to you, Sister Mary. Good to see you here. Good morning, Jen. Good to see you here, friend. Good morning it's good to see you guys here. Others who join us, if you go ahead and let me know that you're here, that would be great. Good morning, Tabitha. Good to have you here, friend. Good to have you here. If you go ahead and tag a girlfriend. Good morning, Ashley. Good to see you here. Good to see you here. Just tagging a few who asked me to remind them to get on up and get on in this room. Y'all, we have some good stuff today. There's some good stuff today. Just take a moment to do it, and I'm joining back in. Jen, I don't know that if I told you hi, but good morning to you as well. Good morning to you as well. All right. I think I got a few. Good morning, Cheryl. Good to see you here. Good morning. Good morning. As you invite other friends. Good morning, Keisha. Good to see you here. So I'm going to go ahead now and just jump right on in, asking God. I've already been praying for you. Real quickly then, I'm just going to go back and remind those of you who have not done so to add your out loud, add your tangible expression of what your breakthrough will look like. Add that to the post that we already have running in the community, where we've asked women to talk to us, to tell us what their breakthrough is going to look like in this good 2022. One, it allows you opportunity to put it into the atmosphere to begin to shape your world with your words. Two, it allows us here in the community to stand in full faith with you about it. And then also it allows Jen and I personally to take ownership as host here in the community to pray over your prayer requests. And literally on our live Friday, for everybody that was listed, we prayed for each of them, and we will continue to check and go back. And so if you see a heart under there, that means it's on our radar. We are praying for you. So if you don't see a heart, it means that I need to circle back and loop those of you in. But we are believing, y'all. Y'all, somebody said this with me. I'm not playing. Like in 2022, we want to see the full manifestation of God in our lives. We don't want to say another year next year. This is our year. So I'm inviting you to jump in here with me quickly and let's go. I'm going to ask you to just respond, put things into your atmosphere. Let's aggressively, let's proactively go after what God has for us. So somebody right there in your homes, say it with me. Say, this is my year. You know, if we were in church or somewhere else like that, we would touch our neighbor and say, listen, sis, listen, girl. So I want you to jog under somebody's name real quickly and just say, listen, sis, right here, this is my year. I want you to type it in all caps or put some kind of emoji or exclamation point that says it like you mean it, like find you somebody, call them by name. Keisha, this is my year. I mean, I do not intend to say not another year next year. This right here, this 2022 is my year. So when you're joining us in on the homework, you write it like you mean it, whether it's some big external manifestation or as Jen transparently shared on Friday, if it's some type of internal work that you're about this year. There is no comparison, there is no competition, but there is confession and there is declaration and there is affirmation. When we put it into the atmosphere, we believe, we desire to see it come to pass. For anybody who perhaps can, go ahead and tag Gwen Riley. I forgot to wake her up this morning. Tanisha Hill, forgot to get her up this morning. Let's see. Several other queens. Y'all go ahead and invite them in. Then we're running now. Let's go. Let's go. Somebody say, let's go. Let's get into this word. Because God has some good things, y'all. I'm telling you, tangible, practical steps. That is my commitment to you each week to be here teaching. So last week when we ended the lesson, I gave this quick illustration about Lot's wife. Now here in this context where we are blatantly sharing that it is not that there is a flaw with me. Somebody go ahead and say that. It's not that it's a flaw with me. It's not that there's something else I need to tweak, something else I need to adjust, something else I need to fix, and something else I need to switch up. It is not that in this season. That is not the cause of the delay. The delay has been because God has been getting our breakthrough ready for us. God has been going before us, making crooked paths straight. God has been going before us, calming the storm. God has been going before us, putting a yes into our next day. God has been going before us, you guys, putting a light on our path. He has been making our breakthroughs ready for us. And I shared last week that our gifts and our talents, our skill sets and our callings make room for us. So we cannot become discouraged. We cannot become disheartened when it feels as if I'm not being invited into certain rooms, allowed to come and sit at certain tables, have certain networking opportunities. We have to understand, I use this illustration, that in the same way that I'm right here in this seat, if I saw Jennifer coming through the door, Keisha coming through the door, Ashley coming through the door, Tabitha coming through the door, I'm already in the room and I begin to scoot over, honey, and I make room right here for them. To do that, for me to be in the posture, in the position to make room for them to sit here beside me, it means that I had to come into the room first, that I had to be here. I had to be prepared. You rest assured. Come on with me. Say that right there. I'm resting assured. I rest assured that my gifts and my talents have run before me and they're making room for me. They're telling some folks scoot over. They're moving some other contracts to the side. They're moving some other names lower on the list. You received that on this morning. My gifts and my talents have run before me and they're making room for me. And eventually soon this year, my body will catch up with the room that the gifts and talents have already made for me. If you receive that, say, I receive it. I receive it. My spirit receives it. My heart receives it. What I can't see with my physical eyes, my spirit man, my spirit woman, I see it and I receive it. Somebody say, I receive it. These lessons that I will be teaching over the next few weeks, they will feel a bit more aggressive, like I'm pushing you and I'm pulling you, I'm encouraging you, I'm exhorting you to really receive it in your spirit man, to really have it, to really obtain it. So last week when we were transitioning then with this context of the breakthrough, we understand at that segue of the story, I talked about how Sodom and Gomorrah was so filled with vileness, with sin, with things that did not please the Lord, and he was getting ready, y'all, to destroy that entire city. He was getting, y'all know that's how the old folks used to try to get us saved, try to scare us with that good fire and brimstone, right? Somebody say fire and brimstone, honey. So they would talk to us about that. God was getting ready to rain down fire and brimstone on Sodom and Gomorrah. So there was going to be total devastation and destruction. But within that group, there was Lot and his wife and his children, and they were heirs of the promise. They were direct descendants. They were the nephew and the family line of Abraham. And so God had already prepared their breakthrough. Somebody get that. Their breakthrough was already prepared for them. The breakthrough was ready. And so when God is getting ready to do this, and by the cries of the righteous uncle, he makes provision, he makes room for the breakthrough for Lot and his family. And we talked about how God began begin to put their hands together and in my mind, link them together and say, y'all, it's time to go. It's time to get up out of here. Your breakthrough is here. Everybody else is about to experience destruction. Everybody else is about to experience death. Everybody else is about to experience loss. Everybody else is about to experience bankruptcy. Everybody else is going down. Receive that even now from that biblical principle. Everybody else is about to experience sickness and disease. Everybody else is about to experience struggle. Everybody else is experiencing fallout. But your breakthrough is here. It does not matter. Somebody receive that. It does not matter what's happening all around us. It does not matter what consequences and circumstances are falling all around us. When God has declared that it is your breakthrough season, then breakthrough can come in an economy that's crashing, in a pandemic, in a world that can seem very dark. God can cause his glory to arise in your space. God can cause his manifest presence to be with you when you walk in the room. God can allow his creative mind to sit in your mind and give you solutions and resolutions that will elevate you to the top. Somebody come on and receive that on this morning. And so when that's happening and the breakthrough is ready, here is a deal. They are getting ready to go, and God has given this one set of instructions. He said, head for your breakthrough and do not look back. Head for your breakthrough and do not look back. Don't hesitate. Don't start wondering and pondering. Don't start second guessing. God is saying head for your breakthrough and do not look back. And we know the dramatic, tragic ending of that story. This family is up and they're moving and they're running for their breakthrough. And Lot's wife makes that critical mistake, y'all. She looks back. See, I don't judge my girl. I just try to get myself in her shoes. And so I invite you on this morning to do the same, y'all. She looks back. She looks back. Man, she looks like, honey, oh, girl looks back. And I don't know if you've ever loved a girlfriend or somebody, man, and you're just like, why are you going back to that? Why are you going back to that? And let me push it. Or perhaps you've been the person, I've been the person where it's like, I want more, I speak about more, I desire more, I can see more. And as one of my 7th grade students said years ago, she said, I literally said to me, I'm trying to get out of my past, but it feels like I'm trying to let go of my past is what she said, but it feels like my past won't let go of me. Y'all, she was all of 12 years old. I'm trying to let go of my past, but it feels like my past will not let go of me. So when I think about Lot's wife, and perhaps if you too are in a place of transparency in your home with honesty, you get it. You can get how you can see your next ahead, but something within you does not allow you to fully embrace, to fully run forward, to fully walk in, to fully move past all of that stuff to get to who you're called to be. Now say, that used to be my story. Because this year in 2022, come on, if you believe that, if you receive that, if you accept that, I need you to go ahead and hit that like button or hit a heart, hit something that says, I'm receiving that in my heart on this morning. Come on, let's do that. Let's just use our hearts buttons to symbolize that. Hit that button, just say, I receive it in my heart on this morning. Because the word teaches us that out of the heart flows the issues of life. I receive it in my heart on this morning that my breakthrough is ready for me, and I too am ready for my breakthrough. So Lot's wife, she looks back, y'all. She looks back, and as I entitled this, Silence in the Silence, it's like I can put myself in her place. I can put myself in her shoes. I want to just share this quickly as a quick aside. So for someone who's chronicling and journaling, put Genesis chapter 11 verses 27 through 28. Genesis chapter 11 verses 27 through 28. Genesis chapter 11 verses 27 through 28. Thank you, all of you queens who are here on this morning. I appreciate it. Genesis chapter 11 verses 27 through 28. This is the passage of scripture that actually deals with the place that Lot's wife is from. I'm losing track of my thoughts right there. And I left the name out of my notes. Sorry about that, y'all, but I want to talk about it anyway. So because the Bible doesn't specifically give us the name of Lot's wife, but what it does give us is the birthplace where she was born, where Lot's wife was born. And here's what's critical about that place. Here's what's critical about it. It says that it is the birthplace of Abraham. It is the birthplace of Abraham. Get that? He's the father of faith. He's the father of promises. So Lot's wife was born in this place. And it also adds that it is the point of departure. It is the point of departure of Abraham's and Terah's household. Why is that significant? Why is it significant to note that it is the birthplace of departure? Because that's where Abraham received the instructions to go. It's the famous context that is referenced when people talk about doing faith walks, when they talk about stepping out, not knowing exactly where you're going, not knowing what the instructions will be, just knowing that you have a promise, that you have a set of instructions to step out, right? So it's it's called Kasdim. Kasdim. That is the place where Abraham was born. That is the birthplace of Abraham, the father of faith, the father of promises. And it is also the place where Abraham received his instructions to step out on faith, to just go and follow what God has said, to become the father of nations, to have his seed be multiplied as much as the stars of the sky. Now get that. That is the same space that Lot's wife was born into. That's the same space where Lot's wife was born. So this woman who is born in a place, born in a context that is full of promise, that is full of the cadence, that is full of the energy of the father of faith, is full of that something, that spirit, that anointing that says, go out and go where I'm directing you, is the same woman that when God gives instructions to experience the breakthrough, she looks back. That's going to become critical when we talk about something next week as it relates then to perhaps understanding that even from her birth, the enemy had already set target to come against the very thing that through her spiritual inheritance she was wired to do. You are born in the place where the father of faith is born. That same father who is directed to step out on God's instruction, to go to a place that is unknown so that he can walk in the full manifestation of who he is called to be. And you are born in that same space. And the death of you is that instead of walking in that same spirit and going after in full faith what God has said, you've looked back. There's a principle and a nugget there for each of us to really understand that the enemy is not playing, that this warring and this struggle that you sometimes feel against manifesting your destiny, against manifesting everything that is inside of you. Look, the hurdles and the frustrations and the worries are not coincidental. Oftentimes, it is directly, strategically ordered. You know, when the word speaks about those spiritual hosts of wickedness and those principalities in dark places, y'all, they sit up and they scheme and they plot, and they don't randomly choose hurdles. They don't randomly choose difficulties. They don't randomly choose crises, but in fact, they directly correlate who we're called to be, what we're destined to be, the gifts and the anointings, the things that people have spoken over your life since you were children. They directly strategize and try to counteract and be counterproductive to those things. Understand that with me on this morning as we talk about making moves in 2022, so that as you navigate your moments and you navigate your days, you're not thrown off by the thing that comes, the challenge that comes, the cross that comes. Is a direct attack, a direct hurdle against who you're called to be, right? It's like that athlete who's called to be a superstar in a certain arena. Trust and believe the enemy is not going to strategize about his essay writing abilities. The enemy's not going to strategize about his announcement abilities, because he's not called to be a news broadcaster or anything like that. He's going to come for his physical body and give ailments and situations in the physical body, because that's in direct conflict with who that person is designed to be. So I want you, even in this moment, to inhale with me. I mean it. Inhale. Catch your breath. Don't allow the circlings of the storms that are in your life to throw you off and to make you feel overly anxious, as if what in the world is going on. Sis, breathe. Seriously, sis, breathe. Everybody put that. Sis, breathe. Sis, breathe. And take a moment and think about it. And I'm sure if you process some of the things that are already your struggles and your issues and those complications that are trying to come up, when you breathe in it for a minute and realize, you're like, see that right there? That wasn't nothing but a tactic. That wasn't nothing but a strategy. That wasn't nothing but a hurdle and a complication that is thrown at me, because it is in direct opposition to who God has called for me to be. If you're understanding me, go ahead and give me a thumbs up right there. Give me some acknowledgement that you're following me. So sis, I want you to breathe with me on this morning. For real, y'all. Catch your breath. Let your eyes kind of run a little bit of peripheral view at what's happening in your life, and remind yourself that this right here, this year, come on with me, say this year is going to be my year of manifestation. So whatever the enemy was going to do, as my girlfriend Yolanda says, you should have broke me last year because it's too late. This year is my year of manifestation. So I refuse to allow these complications. I refuse to allow these struggles and these storms to cause me to get off my track. Now switch real quick, and y'all follow me with this. I can remember several years back, and I've shared bits of this before. I can remember several years back being in a park, y'all, running, preparing and training for the marathon, y'all. And I'm playing my songs, and I'm playing this track that I've specifically designed to kind of keep me motivated and keep me moving. And literally, I've shared before that I was running, and I put this particular song on the track because there's this part where Andra Day says, because I'll rise up. Y'all know it's too early for me to be singing. I couldn't sing that anyway. But she sings this part. I'll rise up. I'll rise up. Let me just stop right there, right? And I loved that part of the song, because right about the time that I would get tired in my running, she would say that, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. So she wrote that part in that song. And so I would put it in my track, and I would listen to it. And it is literally the only part of the song, quite honestly, that I would regularly be present to understand and hear. But for some reason on this particular day, I heard, when the silence is not quiet and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I remember I was running, y'all. I was jogging, y'all. And I literally slowed all the way down. I felt myself stopping. And I felt transplanted for a moment in those words. When the silence is not quiet and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I'm in the park, but I'm transported to this place in a school where I was serving as a former principal. And I'm transported into a conversation. Where this gentleman says to me, you know you only got this position because you're black. Literally says that to me. I'm transported in my emotions to that place. And literally in this park, tears began to roll down my eyes. And it did to me what the song said. And it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I invite you into that space where someone has spoken a word or said a thing. And even though everything within you, like myself, knows that what you're saying is not accurate, it's not true, I understand my years of experience. I understand that my degrees ran circles around his. I understood that I was qualified for the job. But something about his words sat with me. I can remember times in a ministry when I have stood outside of the door. Is that a pastor who would call on you impromptu? I didn't want to be prepared, didn't want to not have the words to say. And so I would stand outside of the door. And I could give you example after example that gives me a direct correlation to Lot's wife. When breakthrough is there, when breakthrough is on the horizon, but there are thoughts and there are issues and there's stuff that causes us to look back. So here's the work, because I know it's time to go. Here's the work, almost time to go. Here's the work that I encourage us to do this week. I invite you to lean into the thought. I invite you to lean into the thought that tries to surface, that tries to come up, that tries to beat at your self-esteem or your self-confidence anytime that breakthrough is on the horizon. Now, why is this important, y'all? Because until we can recognize it and deal with it, then when it begins to surface again, we try to squash it and we try to push it down, but we've never really gotten to the root of it. And so each time that there is a breakthrough moment, we have to stutter step and second guess ourselves and get a huddle and get somebody to power us. And in this good 2022, I'm speaking over our lives and we're making moves and it's time for manifestation. And so quite honestly, we don't have time to be hesitant every time it's time to walk through the door of a breakthrough. So we want to really do the work and begin to harness this stuff and get a grip on it and squelch it this year for the last time. So here's the thought that I would battle with. Am I good enough? Am I good enough, y'all? And I realized in that park on that day that the reason, no, I didn't recognize it on that day. I realized that what he said to me paralyzed me for a moment, caused my heart and my emotions to be settled in a space. And I committed on that day to begin to do the work, to really understand, Gina, when some of your best days are here and your best moments are here and opportunities are here to excel and go forward, what is that thing that causes you to stand outside of the door? What is that thing that causes you to have to get on the phone with a close friend and say, I'm here at the meeting, but I don't even want to go in? What is that second guessing? What are those thoughts that float to your mind? What is it? What is that thing? And I really had to do the work. I really began to have to think about it. And so I'm saying this to you because most of you already know what your thought is as well. You know what that thought is that comes to mind for you, that causes you to second guess yourself, to doubt yourself, to really try to battle against anxiety and emotions. You know what yours is. But for the sake of transparency and for the sake of this week, understanding that where we're heading to is breakthroughs. But to get to our breakthroughs, we will not have moments to keep circling around and dealing with this same old stuff. Somebody wants to finish it on this morning. Somebody is saying with me, yeah, let's go ahead and really talk about it. Now, here is the strategy that the world often has offered us. They have told us, squelch it, push it down, don't worry about it. Put that out of your head. But what I am saying to you as a counter to that on today is no. Because I would ask you that question. How is that working for you? How is that really working for you? For that thought that has probably haunted you, honestly, since you were a little girl, how is not looking at it? How is not addressing it? How is tucking it away? How is that working for you? Well, for Gina, it manifested itself again in a park. For Gina, it manifested itself in the corridors of a church. For Gina, it manifested itself in the cars. I'm sitting on the phone getting pumped up to go into a meeting because I don't want to go inside. That thought that I had refused to look at for a very long time was, am I good enough? The answer to that repeatedly was, I'm not good enough. So I'm going to encourage us this week, whether you want to jump in with me right here, right now, and go ahead and bring that thing on out so that we can talk about it and deal with it. You're welcome to add yours into the comments right now. As we did last week with our homework, I'm going to have it posted where you get to join in, where you get to say, this is mine. And why do we do that? We do that, y'all, so that we can take away the power of silence. One of my dear mentor girlfriends, Terry Thiel, loves to say, the enemy's greatest war against us is silence. That's why the word says we overcome by the word of our mouths, right? The enemy does the opposite. He tries to deep dive into silence so that we can feel as if we are alone, as if we are the only one, as if we'll never come out of this struggle. But y'all, this is our year. And I am not going to hype us up into manifestation. We're going to do our work all the way into manifestation. And a piece of that work is identifying what hinders me. What self-debilitating thoughts hinder me? What causes me to not go forward? I want to deal with it. Do you want to deal with it? If you want to deal with it, you're going to have ample opportunity either to join in the comments here or to come on in underneath the homework assignment post that I'm going to have up for us so that we can begin to really, really do the work to make sure that when those breakthrough opportunities come, we walk through those doors with no hesitancy. Do you receive that on this morning? Are you declaring with me that I am going to walk through those doors? And I'm just not going to look back. I'm going to walk through those doors and not be hesitant. I'm going to walk through those doors in full boldness and full confidence. I'm transitioning now into prayer because I'm declaring that over you. I'm declaring that you're willing to do the work, that you're willing to really be honest about the thing that hinders you, the thing that slows you down, the thing that makes you second guess yourself so that we can do the work. Now, as a part of this work, Silence in the Silence, I'm going to teach us a three-step process that really helps you to really harness that thing that perhaps you're not even willing to talk about, didn't even want to expose right now. Some of you already have it, and for those of you who still need to get it, I did the work and chronicled my whole story right here in Silence in the Silence. I'll make sure that this book is up on my website so that you can have access to it, and I'll put that information in the link in the title on www.drginalyn.com. But Silence in the Silence, it is the work. But the first part of that work is looking at that thought head on. What hinders me? My thought was, am I good enough? Honey, I know that answer now. But I'm telling you, the work and the mental training that I had to undo, the places that I had to go back and examine where that thought had caused me to make decisions. I'm sure when you do the work, you'll see how that debilitating thought causes you to make decisions, causes you to tolerate, causes you to not apply, causes you to settle for things that are so beneath what God has promised. This is our year of manifestation, queens. Let's go ahead and wrap in and say huddle and hold hands. I want everybody on one accord to receive this in your spirit. Let's go all the way back to what we're saying. Let's just say this again. This is my year of manifestation. Listen, we don't have to be hype. We don't have to be running around nothing. We don't have to be shouting hard. We're making cognizant decisions that this is the year. Somebody say that. This is the year. This right here, this is the year. No, I mean it. This is the year. So, Father, I declare over your precious daughters that this right here, 2022, this is the year. This is the year of manifestation. Because we understand that we're ready for breakthrough, and breakthrough is ready for us. This is the year. So I thank you that as we are doing the work to recognize these breakthroughs, to recognize what prevents us or serves as hurdles to keep us from walking in, that we are layering the work so that as the breakthroughs unfold in January, and breakthroughs come dashing in February, and breakthroughs sprout up in March, and breakthroughs rain down in April, and breakthroughs come into full bloom in May. Oh my God, we will be so ready. We will have done the necessary stuff to see them, to own them, to harness them, to walk in them, because we believe that this right here, this is our year. As our takeaway from today's lesson, God, we loop ourselves into the story of Lot's wife. We loop ourselves into the story of a sister who, even though breakthrough was at her fingertips, she looked back. God, without judgment, without condemnation, we step into that space and we declare that that will not be us. Father, that we will not be memorialized at our point of breakthrough by looking back, but that we will walk forward in it. And so we understand that just as Lot's wife has so much promise and so much spiritual inheritance surrounding her destiny, and the enemy came in direct conflict to that, we recognize that so goes it for our lives, that there's so much destiny, so much promise, so many gifts and talents, and we now understand and we see that the circumstances and the hurdles and the difficulties and the challenges, they're not by coincidence, but that the enemy and his spiritual host of wickedness and all the folk he met with, they literally strategize against what you have predestined over our lives. So Father, today we take full authority in the name of Jesus. We posture ourselves as daughters who have the who have an intercessor who's seated at the right hand of God, and he is in intercession for us, and he has placed a hedge of protection around us. He has placed your watching angels over the word to perform it. You have come in like our battle axe. You've come in like the God of the angel armies. You've come in, Father, like Jehovah Nissi, already waving the banner high, meaning that we've won. We posture ourselves in a position of victory, and we declare with our own mouths that the enemy has no place and no authority, that the enemy will not win, that we are more than conquerors, that this is a fixed fight, that you have gone before us and you've already made crooked paths straight, that you have literally ordered this day, you have ordered this week to be victorious for us. So whatever circumstance comes, we shake it off. Whatever issue comes, we put it under our feet. Whatever challenge comes, we rise above it. Whatever dart comes, we duck and we dodge it, Father, because you've already declared that not one weapon will work, Father. And we specifically declare it for this year, that our plans will not be frustrated, that our energy will not be exhausted, that we will not allow people to waste our time and our energy and our efforts, God. But this year, everything that we're doing is in lockstep with victory. It's in lockstep with manifestation. We declare that this is the year that we will live to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. This is the year. This is the month. This is the week. This is the day. This is the hour. This is the minute. We declare this right here. This year is our year of manifestation, and we will not settle for anything less. We declare it with our words. We come in full agreement with your word, and we declare together that it is so. Somebody say that with me. It is so in Jesus' name. It is so in Jesus' name. It is so in Jesus' name. Queens, we'll wrap up right there. Again, I just want to remind you, this is your year. Sis, this is your year. Queens, help me remind another queen as we get prepared to exit. Let them know this is your year. This is your year. If there's a particular queen that you desire to see do the work with us, go ahead and tag them. Go ahead and tag them. Tell them to get on up in here. Get in, y'all. Let's get in here. Let's prepare to do this work. Let's understand that there are parts to a journey that are not always glorious. They're not always fun, honey, but it's the necessary stuff. So that this that we're building in this year, it can be settled and it can be sure. You all, I expect to hear the testimonies of victory. I expect to hear the testimonies of victory on the horizon. Not many days from hence. Not many days from hence. I expect y'all to hear the testimonies of victory on the horizon. On the horizon. Yes. Real quickly, the Lord has dropped in my spirit. For those of you who have students who are graduating this year and you are believing God for the funding, for the income, for them to receive their next, whether they're going to a technical school, going to a university, starting their own small business or big business for that matter, that's what I hear the Lord saying in the spirit realm. I got you. I got you. I hear that in the spirit realm. For some mother, for some family member who knows the mother, who's concerned about how provision will come for the next, for their child, for their son or for their daughter, for their grandchild, if it's a grandmother, worried about that. I hear the Lord saying, I have you. And what's amazing is that I'll even be able, if I can get her to, get my girlfriend to come on, the one that we prayed for and talked about last week in the story where we were having a scenario and I told her God had already placed the yes, in her Monday. All she had to do was live to see it. My friend got that yes. My friend got that yes. That breakthrough has been made manifest. And so as a source of encouragement, I'm going to ask her to come and join us for one of these lives this week so that you can be linked in. As a quick reminder, we do have prayer on Wednesday at 6 o'clock. As you're listing your things, as you're listing your thought, I see some of you putting them in here. I'm going to put that up. Jennifer will be praying about that, hosting us on Wednesday at 6, praying against and over those negative thoughts that come. So in the same way that you participated on Put Your Stuff Out Loud, let's go ahead and put it into the atmosphere on that homework assignment. I'm going to ask you, invite you to continue to do the work with us this week, y'all. Every week we're going to stay engaged. And then on Friday we'll come back live. Of course, I believe Jen will join me again. We'll be on live processing the things that we've done. And hopefully I can even get my girlfriend to join us if she's not traveling to share a bit of what happened for her. All right. So that's it. I'm speaking a productive day over each of you. This is our year, Queen. This right here, this is our year. In Jesus' name. As always, y'all know it because it's so true. I honor the greatness that's on the inside of you. Much love. Y'all give me love back. Much love. Y'all give me love back. Yes. And thank you to everybody who's signed up. Who signed up to help. Jennifer's following up. Those of you who sent me some love gifts, I appreciate it. Just trying to cover those things. But see you on Wednesday at 6 o'clock. See you on Friday at 6 o'clock. That's our regular cadence. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 o'clock. See you real soon. Y'all take care.